Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're coming across the channel for the first time, I share videos around UK immigration, transitioning into tech, data analytics, and among many other things. And you know, we've been having conversations about some of the Labour, government plan to reduce net migration in the UK. And based on the figures released by the Home Office, there's been a lot of numbers showing that there's been a massive decrease in the number of immigrants coming into the UK. Alongside the protest currently happening in the UK on the British citizen not wanting to have Muslim immigrants in the country. The fight against the number of people coming in through the small boats, asylum seekers. Just to mention a few, there are lots of things happening right now in the UK, and the focus is that the UK citizens are tired of having lots of immigrants coming to their country and, according to them, taking over their jobs. They just want their country back. Basically that's was the movement of the far right activists and the protests going on in the UK at the moment. And the Home Office has released quite a number of figures to show the decrease in the number of immigrants coming to the UK across different visa categories, including the people coming through the small boats illegally into the country. It's an exciting time for the Britons, and that's really the situation of things. And I was having a conversation with someone a few days ago. We were having chat about how it was in the UK for immigrants and how it is right now, especially when it comes to trying to get a job, settling in this country. The difference between what used to happen here in the UK and what is happening at the moment. So if you're an immigrant right now in the UK, you should want to stick to this video to the end so you get more information about what is happening with immigrant, how you can plan yourself as an immigrant living and working in the United Kingdom. So I came across this video, on Sky News that talked about the latest figures around immigration and how the Labour government is really making a lot of headway around cutting net migration. So you might want to check it out.
Has released its latest immigration figures showing that irregular arrivals were down over the last year period. Almost 39,000 people arrived to the UK irregularly in the year up to June. That's a drop, though, of 26%. Small boat arrivals were down 29% on the same period the year before and made up 81% of those irregular arrivals. Almost every person who arrived this way claimed asylum, but 96% of these applications were still undecided by the end of June. The Schools Minister, Catherine McKinnell, said this drop in irregular arrivals doesn't mean the previous government's plan was working.
Their plans were not working. The Rwanda plan was a gimmick, and we've already seen since Labour took office 9 flights of people already being returned because they have been processed. And that is the best way to manage our immigration challenges, is to make sure that we're actually processing people when they arrive here, that those who are entitled to stay can stay, those who aren't are returned. The government absolutely left the chaos to deal with, and we're picking up the pieces and we're repairing the mess.
Our political correspondent, Mari Aurora, has been crunching the numbers for us. Mari, what else have we learnt this morning?
Yes, morning, Gareth. So this new Home Office data really starts to paint a picture of if and what policies from the previous government were potentially working. So I know you've read through some of the headline figures there, but what's really interesting is actually when you look at the kind of overall picture. So small boats crossings down 29%. That's a pretty big headline, but also many would argue actually that the record levels from before mean that that's still going to be quite a high number, for instance. But also, for instance, we've got study visas also down 13%. We've got work visas down 11%, and also quite importantly we've got the dependents of people who came over on study visas also down actually 81% for the first 6 months of this year. As I predicted before, you're going to have Conservative voices saying, well, this is thanks to our policies and this is because of us. So let me read you a tweet from James Cleverly, the former Home Secretary, of course, under the Conservative government before. He said, "When I said I was going to cut immigration, I meant it. Visas down, small boats arrivals down, cut the backlog, cut the asylum grant rate. It's not about words, it's about delivery." And now, in that clip from the government minister, Catherine McKinnell, she was trying to, justify the fact that actually, no, this is not the Conservative plan that was working, and trying to deny those claims that the Tories are going to try and take credit for some of these figures. But it's quite difficult because if you just look at the cold hard facts and if you just look at the numbers, these are figures from June, the end of June 2023 until the end of June 2024. So a 12-month period in which almost completely entirely actually was under the Conservative government. And so those figures going down could be argued that actually maybe it was working. We know that they've put in certain policies, especially around, like I said, things like student visas and the dependence of student visas. But also, interestingly, there's some figures around the enforcement of returns. So 48% increase in that. Now, that's quite a lot of kind of driven by 87% of those, actually, in fact, was about Albanian enforced returns because of, again, the previous government having a deal with Albania. But nonetheless, some of these numbers seem to suggest that actually maybe it was actually having some level of an effect. And to an extent, you could argue that Rishi Sunak might think to himself, maybe I should have gone in the autumn and not called a July election. Then he would have had a Bank of England interest rate. He would have had small boat crosses reducing, as well as also some other things that he could have potentially pointed to, for instance, economic growth as well.
And to be honest, things are not really the way it used to be. I know I can remember when I, first came into the UK in 2021. That was when COVID, we're just recovering from COVID, and the UK government had just, opened up their border for immigrants. That was when they reintroduced the post-study work visa. Trust me, it was really a good time, in so many ways in terms of jobs. I was, doing my chat with a friend some days ago. We were talking about how it was not so difficult. It wasn't easy, but it wasn't so difficult to get a job, a part-time job, while studying. I remember I had to stay in the UK for about 5 to 6 weeks before I got my first job, and it wasn't that bad. I remember my very good friend, he had to stay for like 2 months before he got his job. It wasn't so bad, to get a part-time job at that time. But now it's really difficult. I was in church on Sunday, and the lady was sharing how she has been in the UK for 6 months now, and she has never worked. She has been unable to get a job, and it's really really sad because you know just imagine living in the UK and not working for 6 months. That's a lot, considering the fact that you've got like bills to pay immediately you get into this country. So not working for 6 months, it's really really a lot. So yeah, she hasn't been working for 6 weeks, 6 months, and this is the same with some people who are recently coming to the UK, finding it a bit difficult to get part-time jobs. And the major reason for this is solely because of the increase in number of people coming in. Now, don't get me wrong, there are jobs in the UK. I've got my own load, my share of having job opportunity in the UK. However, the number of job opportunity has reduced because of the number of people here in the UK, especially for unskilled jobs, really. So yeah, the number has really reduced, and there's still so many opportunity for professional jobs, but it's becoming even more competitive. I was having a conversation with someone about how most of the job vacancies being put out there get closed early because of the massive number of applicants, who are looking at getting into getting that job role. So yeah, it's really interesting to see. And most people are of the opinion that with these tight or strict rules on immigration, it's going to give room for more job opportunities for those already in the UK. To be honest, I really don't see how that is going to play out because, yeah, if with these strict rules being put in on many of the visa categories here in the UK, it means that fewer people will be coming into the country, and hopefully there'll be more job opportunities for those who are already in the United Kingdom. But looking at the way things are, especially in the job market, majorly in the job market, I've helped quite a number of people get into different job roles here in the UK. Many of these employers are becoming a bit strict because of all of these policy changes. I'm going to give an example. So, a couple of months ago, sometimes in November, I got a senior analyst role, with a company, somewhere in Kent, and yeah, I got my certificate of sponsorship. I think almost immediately after I got the offer letter, even while I was still waiting for my, pre-employment check, reference check to be done. They gave me the serious, I was told to even apply for the visa to change my sponsor on, with the Home Office while we were waiting for the whole employment check to be completed. So that's how, it's seamless and easy getting the serious was last year. So a couple of weeks later, I got a better job offer. and I had to like turn down that previous job offer that gave me the COS. And it was quite a very difficult decision for me because of how nice the employer was, especially the line manager I was going to work with. But yeah, the better option was there, so I had to go with that. So few months after, not even up to few months, but a month after, they had to pull back that particular job vacancy outside, to get people who take up the role. And the same role, the same job, the same manager, the same organization, the same salary on the job that gave me COS, they categorically stated on that particular job vacancy again when they put this out the second time that no visa sponsorship will be provided. There might be a lot of reasons for that. It's probably if one of the major reasons might be because maybe the funding for that role was reduced or whatever reason it is. So most of those organizations are beginning to become a bit tight and strict with when it comes to pushing out job vacancies. And many of those job opportunities, check on Indeed and many of the popular job websites in the UK, you see that most of those roles they categorically state there in capital letter in bold, you know, um, you know, stated boldly on it that this particular would do come with sponsorship. So yeah, there are really a lot of things I want need to really consider with this whole, change the policy, stricter measures to see how things plays out. But the good thing is that, if you've got this right skill set, regardless of whatever rule they're putting in, if you've got the right skill set, you will definitely get a job. Sectors around, sectors like engineering, construction, you know, healthcare, there are still loads of opportunity regardless of the number of people or the volume of people already in the United Kingdom. So the plan basically is to dedicate this particular video to answer all questions around getting a job, transitioning into different job roles that you might want, whether you need visa sponsorship or you don't. I'm going to dedicate this particular video to answer all of those questions. So all you need to do is to put all your comments in the comment section, and I'll make sure I respond to every single person commenting on this video. And if you have any question around getting a job, transitioning into tech, whatever details you need on how to go about it, then should state make sure you state your comments in the comment section. And if you're coming across this channel for the first time, do well to hit on the subscribe button. If you've been following this channel, you subscribe. Thank you guys for being there. I really do appreciate you guys. So this will be the end of this video, and I'll sure to see you guys in my next video. Thank you.